Hello again. Working on our 2013 Raptor today. The door lock on the driver's side rear stopped working, so we're going to go ahead and replace the door lock switch. There's a few tools that we're going to need. I'm going to list those out and then we'll get to work on getting that replaced. Tool wise, you'll need a basic socket set. The sizes we're going to use are 10mm, 8mm, and 6mm. I'm using an electric ratchet, but a regular ratchet's fine. A set of needle nose pliers, a series of picks, and or a trim tool, some masking tape, and I've also got some strip caulk. You may or may not need that to hold the vapor barrier back up. So let's get going and start working on this thing. First thing, we need to remove this little trim piece behind the door latch there. I think a pick's going to be best. You can use a trim removal tool, but I think a pick will get in there easier. You just kind of get behind it and flip it out of there. I'm using a dental pick and another pick to get that out. So there's that. Once that covers off, it'll expose a 8mm bolt that needs to come off. So that's out. I need to take the window switch out. So I'm going to take this little screwdriver and get under here and pry up. This should just pop out. We'll use that in our trim tool. See if we can get that in there. That'll expose the wire for the switch. There's a little tab you push right here. So just push that and pull it out. Next, there's a trim piece here that needs to come off, and that just pulls off. Once you get that off, that's going to expose a 6mm bolt, which is right here, and that's got to come off. I move into the bottom of the door panel. There's two little slots right here. Those are also 6mm, and those need to come off. Now the door panel just slides up and out. So the door panel, once you get it off, it's going to be held on by this cable for the door handle. There's two little tabs that you got to press in and then pull this out at the same time. Oops. Well, it made it easier to get to anyway. Anyway, these little things have to go in and push over. It's kind of hard to hold the door panel and do that at the same time. So once you get that out, it just kind of pulls over. And then there's a little, well, you just saw it. This just pulls out of there, then that cable's free. Then you can set the door panel aside. I already did this just so that door panel would hang, but this cable sits in these little clips. So I took it out of the clip so it would hang. Next step is to get this vapor barrier off. Someone's already been in here before, so it's a little bit torn. But you want to be careful not to tear this so that you can stick it back on there. There's a bunch of this, whatever you call it, butyl type tape stuff. But really, you're just trying to expose over in here so you can get to these bolts and whatnot. And then just kind of let it sit to the side. You don't have to remove the speaker or any of that kind of stuff. I'm going to run some tape over top of the window to hold it, because we need to drop the window regulator down so that we can get everything out. So let's do that first. All right, so down inside here, down in there, there's two bolts in there that we need to loosen to release that window. So there's one there, and there's one over on the other side, right here. Those are 10mm, so I'm gonna take those out now. These don't have to come all the way out, they just need to be loosened. So now we're just gonna lower this down about midway. All right, now we need to undo these 10mm bolts. There's two 10 millimeter bolts, and there's also a nut down on the bottom down. All those need to come out. This one doesn't have to come all the way out. We just want to swing it all the way over. So we'll do that next. So this should just kind of swing out of the way. There we go. Alright, let me do that. So, once you get that loose, you have to push it up and through this little hole, and then it'll move out of the way so you can get to where we really need to go. Next step, down inside here, there's this little pink clip. We need to get that open to release the lock rod. Couldn't get my hand in there and do it and hold the camera, but I took a pick and just went back behind it and then just popped that off like so. So it sits like this, and I just kind of went behind it and pulled, and then popped that out. That's actually for the door handle on the outside, not the lock rod. Either way, it has to come on. Done. All right, on to the next thing. All right, there's 3 of these T25 bolts. Once those are out, this mechanism will come out. And we just need to unplug it. It's got a little tab right here on the top. Then it's got your lock rod that sits in there like so. Alright, you can buy aftermarket, but this is the Ford part number. I like to use original equipment if it's even close to the same money, just because just better stuff. Parts are kind of hit and miss these days. So here's the new one. There's a few things we need to transfer over to this, so I'll show you what to do there. All right, so this little harness, actually it's your cable, so it'll open it up. This little cover has to come off like so, and this has to, well, that came out pretty easy, but it's got a little hook on there that just kind of pops out. So that needs to go on the new one. Just pops in there like so. And just line this up so it goes in the same spot. There's a little tab right here that needs to stick through right there at the top. So really just line that up and you're good to go. Just like that. All set. So your door lock, that needs to go in the top one, like so. Okay, once you get that in there, this has to go back where it was. All right, then you need to just replace the bolts to hold it in place. And then just tighten those up once you get them in place. All right, next thing is get that rod back in place for the door handle right there. And then just put that over and connect it. To test that, you want to pull the handle and make sure that is moving. If the rod's moving and the thing's not like clipped all the way, then it's just going to sit there and strip it out, so you want to make sure that that's clipped all the way. Next thing would be to replace the wire. I don't know if you can see in there, right there. Just clip that back into place. They're clipped. Next thing is put the window regulator back. I already slid that back into place here. You got a bolt here and a nut down here on the bottom. Now we need to get the window put back in place. See if we can see that little, there it goes. Okay, that's all the way up. Okay, on these you don't want to over tighten it. You don't want to break the window. Testing the window. Ta-da! With all that done up, we just need to put our vapor barrier back. Like I say, this thing's a little hammered because somebody's been in here before. But if it'll just maybe stick, yeah, we're gonna have to do something else. So that white stuff wasn't sticky anymore, so I pulled off a little bit of it. I just happen to have a whole bunch of this butyl tape because I work on old cars all the time, which is essentially the same thing. That's what they used to use. So we're just gonna stick some of that where this goes, and then we'll put that vapor barrier back up. Next thing is to put the door panel back on. We have to hook our door latch thing back up. All right, door panel's back on. Need to put our 3 screws back in. There's 2 down here on the bottom. And they just go in these little slots. All right, we got another one that goes right here at the top. And we replace our other trim piece, just goes right here. Pops right on. We got our 8mm screw that goes right here. Our little trim panel. This was the hardest thing to get out, in all honesty. And we just need to hook our window switch back up, like so. And pop this back in. And everything is done. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.